Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. You already know the vibes. It's your boy Tracy. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just get right into it. So it was funny because I was talking to my friend today, and for some strange reason we were just on the topic of the first time we went to Europe for Fashion Week. And honestly, I just started recollecting some of the stories that I've had from Europe, and honestly that first trip I went on to Milan was one for the books because baby, I was out in those streets. Let's get into it. So for those of you who don't know what Fashion Week is, typically it happens twice a year for the main seasons. You have fall, winter, and spring, summer. And this season was spring, summer. I forget what year. It was like 21, I think, or something. I had to have been like 21. But this must have been like 13 years ago, something crazy. And it goes from New York to London to Milan to Paris. So typically, a lot of the agents from New York will go to like London, or maybe they'll go to Milan and Paris, or they'll just go to Paris. So this particular season, it was my first time going for the company, and I was like going with the new faces for Fashion Week, so it was such an exciting time, and I was going to Milan. Mind you, I had never been to Europe. I feel like I had only left the country once before, and that was when I first went to China when I was in college. But this was like my first trip to Europe, and I was going to Milan, so you know your boy was in there. I was like feeling it. I was like, I'm about to show the girls what's good. So got to Milan, super cute. We stayed at the Now Hotel, which is like infamous for like having all of the models and all of the agents that go. They usually stay at that hotel, or like there's a couple other ones too that people stay at, but that's like one of the ones that a lot of people stay at. And yeah, it was cute. I was feeling it. You know, we were going out, going to business meetings, meeting a lot of the foreign agencies. It was my first time going out and feeling like I was finally an international, like jet-setting agent. So I was in my bag. So it was funny. So the first traumatizing thing that happened to me, and honestly, I cringe more about it now than I did in the moment because I was like, whatever. But literally we had a dinner. So one of the things that you typically do a lot when you travel with a modeling agency, with the company, and you go to shows, is that you meet all of your like foreign models, and you might meet a lot of like clients that you work with. So this particular night we were having a dinner with some of the models that were doing Fashion Week in Milan. And it was my first time in Italy, and like really sitting down and like at an Italian restaurant. So we order a bottle of wine. And usually, or sometimes usually when you go to like a decent place, the sommelier will come around with like the cork so that you can sniff the whatever. I don't really care. So anyway, I'm sitting at the table and I'm like, oh yeah, we'll have a bottle of red or whatever. So the sommelier comes up to me with the cork, and they're like, so you know, I'm like, oh my God, they're asking for a taste. In my head, I'm like, what the fuck is this? So he puts the cork to my face, and I was like, oh my Lord, oh my goodness, that's so delicious. So I'm looking at the table, everyone's looking at me mortified because apparently you're supposed to like smell the cork and look at it so that you know the bottle. So everyone's looking at me crazy, and I'm like, oh, I love it, let's get more. So then after, my boss is like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know. I just didn't really feel embarrassed about it because I was like, why do I need to smell the cork anyway? Like, who cares? Just pour the glass and let's get on with it. But I guess that was a little bit embarrassing. So that happened. So then also too, so I feel like generally a lot of my issues stemmed from like food and like restaurant situations. So also in Milan, it was like the first time I really kind of realized that I had a really strong New York accent, because I went into like one of them little stores that like a convenience store or whatever. So I'm like, oh, can I get a bottle of water? And the guy was like, scusa? And I was like, can I have a bottle of water, please? And he was like, he don't understand. I'm like, water, agua. And he was like, oh, water. And I was like, water. And he was like, I can't even say it, water. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, do you have a bottle of water? And he was like, and I was like, so then the other issue that happened was like, so I'm a Virgo, my birthday's September 22nd, and it always falls during Milan Fashion Week. So I'm there and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go out for my birthday. It's gonna be so cute tonight. I'm from New York. So in New York, if you wanna go out and if you wanna do something, something's gonna be open and there's gonna be somewhere to go. So I'm thinking it's like 11 p.m. and I'm like texting everybody. I'm like, oh, what's cute to go out to tonight? Where can we eat? Where can we what? Everyone texts back, babe, everything's closed. It's, you know, in Milan, they don't really stay open so late. So I'm like, we can't even go to a bar. Like, they're like, no, babe, everything's closed. So I'm like, So I'm like, okay, we'll get something in room service. It'll be totally fine. Literally, I called down to room service. Yeah, we start serving drinks at 10 and we only have a limited menu. When I tell you, I was in my hotel room crying. And I feel like if I looked up the Instagram post, I like posted like, I forgot what kind of like little snacks they gave you, but it was like a piece of cheese and like a bottle of sparkling water. And I took a picture of it and posted it to Instagram. It was like, happy birthday to me with like a sad face. I was being so self-deprecating. It was actually it was really cringeworthy. But to be honest, I really was distraught at the fact that I couldn't have me at least a little glass of something when I was out. You know what I'm saying? It's your birthday and you're in Europe. So that was like, just like so sad for me. But anyway, the worst thing that happened, and wait till y'all get a load of this. So it's the final night of the trip. Mind you, I'm exhausted. It's like, we've had at least 20 meetings, met a million models, went to fashion shows, fashion parties, been running all around. It's the last night before we go back. My flight is the next morning back to New York. So we decided to go. I'm with two other like friends that I know, they're agents at other agencies. And we're like, okay, let's go out to a club tonight. It's the last night, let's go have fun. I don't know what happened, but we were in the taxi. Well, I do know what happened. The taxi driver was getting a little bit, I don't know, something about, he was doing a little bit too much child ragazzi. Like it was too much. And I wasn't really feeling it. So we got into an argument. So we get out of the taxi and I tell you, I grabbed the door handle and I went to slam that door. He pulled off and my hand like went with the car. Baby, I looked at my hand. My finger was going, like it was completely perpendicular to what was going on. So I'm looking and I'm like, I'm mortified. I'm like, my finger's broken. So my friends are sitting there, mind you, they're drunk. So they're walking out, I'm like, guys, my finger's broken, my finger's broken. My finger's going like this. And I'm just like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? My flight's the next morning. It's maybe like 2 o'clock in the morning. If I go to the hospital, I'm gonna miss my flight. I'm already so sick of being here. I'm so malnourished because I haven't eaten because they didn't have nothing to bring to me for my birthday. So I'm just looking at my finger and I'm like, what am I gonna do? No one's listening to me. I'm like screaming, my finger's broken. And I was just like, you know what? And I pulled it out and cracked it back into place. I said, whatever, listen, if it still works, we can still go with it. I went into the club, had me a drink, and got on that plane the next day and flew back to New York. But look at my finger now. You see, I'll never get married. I'll be okay. So, yeah, needless to say, that first trip to Milan was a lot. Albeit, you know, it was cute though. We had girls doing top shows. We had somebody in Prada, so it was fine. But it was, you know, it was really kind of an inkling of what was to come because the trips never got easier from there. But that broken finger really gagged me. I don't know. Anyway, if you guys want to know more stories and if you want to hear more, comment down below. And if you don't want to hear more stories, then tell me what you want to know about Boo. Any which way, as I said, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you for another video really soon. Purr.